A-League show. No music because it fucks up my channel algorithm and gets me shadow banned, so my live streams are fucking empty and sad. So, no music. Suck it. But yes, here we are for another A-League show. It should be episode 83. I did a quick search of my channel, and 82 was the latest I found. So, A-League show, episode number 83. And I'm doing it this way because I'm using the boomer concept of putting two different topics about one overarching topic together in the same video. It's fucking stupid, but football is an ever-changing and evolving landscape, and I want to get my opinions out to the people before it changes again. So that's what we're going to be doing today. First of all, I want to talk and mainly praise Sydney FC's transfer business because now we're underway. We're a fucking flawless outfit again. We're a ruthless machine that's coming for a domestic treble this year. And I also want to talk about the Australia Cup round of 16 because there's some very exciting matchups in there that I'm looking forward to watching, including Sydney's game against Bentley, which when I'm uploading this or when this is uploaded and public to you guys, I should be on a plane down to Bentley. If I'm not, I'll put a crying emoji in the comments because I will be mentally distraught because I really want to go Bentley away. It's going to be an awful trip, but I'm 100% sure it's going to be worth it. And, you know, football. How awesome. But, yeah, let's start with Sydney FC's transfer business because although we only signed one player, and what a player to sign, Robert Mack, never heard of him before this, but looking at what he's done over his career, he looks quite exciting. And I'll get into that. I'll get into, you know, absolutely fapping over the idea of him playing for Sydney FC. But there's two other players that look very likely to be signing with us in the coming days and weeks. Joe Lolley and Alex Parsons. And I'm quite excited for both of those signings as well. Different reasons as to why I'm excited for them, but still, the main thing, they'll improve Sydney FC as a club and a team remains. So, yeah, we'll talk about them. But let's start with Robert Mack. He's a 31-year-old winger and Slovakian international who's had a highly successful career around Europe. He spent, I'm pretty sure, is in the entirety of his career playing in not the top 5 leagues, but leagues around Europe. He's made appearances mainly in the Europa League, but he's also played in the Champions League and represented Slovakia as well at the Euros. So he's got a wealth of pedigree to his name in the footballing world, and he seems like an awesome signing for Sydney FC to get because looking at his highlights, looking at the type of player that you'd assume he would be, he's 5'11". I imagine he's a reasonably pacey and skillful player because he's a winger that's, you know, had a prolonged career in Europe. And also he's played against and with some really good players. So those two things, like playing with good, I mean, the better the players you surround yourself with, the better the player you're going to be. And now that he's bringing that to the A-League and to our squad, that's going to be great for developing players, young players just in general. But I'm thinking like Segacic, also a winger, could definitely learn from him. We've obviously lost a lot of that in Milos Ninkovic fucking off to the Wanderers. So getting in an experienced European winger is going to be good to have around the squad, or just an experienced European player really. And if he fits the build, I think that it's going to be a really good addition to the way we want to play this year because we needed wingers. I said in the review video of the Central Coast game, I don't want to see Segacic, Lafondra and Burgess starting every game for us, and us going out and getting Robert Mack is a good sign of, you know, that not happening, which, I mean, I want to see those players more. Like, I definitely want to see Alfie, Segacic, Burgess get game time. I don't want it to be as a starting winger, and the signing of Robert Mack kind of signals the intent that's not the intent for Segacic and shit. But yeah, it's a transfer, like, I'm excited for it. Everything fits the bill in terms of what makes me excited when a player comes to the A-League, you know, played around Europe, had a successful career, has some good highlights on the internet, played at an international level, and yeah, that's all well and good. So that ticks all the boxes for making me excited. But I do want to say, like, we need to see how it pans out in the A-League, because obviously, like, Daniel Sturridge, one of the presumed better players to come to the A-League recently, did terribly. So it's still a mixed bag as to what's going to happen, but I really think he'll do well. The club tends to get transfers right. They got Caballo right. I'm easily prepared to say that now. Diego Caballo is awesome. So, yeah, I'm pleased with the transfer. I'm assuming it's going to be good, but time will tell. But yeah, the Robert Mack. Then Joe Lolley. He hasn't signed yet, but I'm assuming he signed. I mean, I was planning to do this video before Robert Mack had signed, and I was just going to say I assume all of these people have signed, but it's according to The Athletic that we're going to sign him, and apparently there's going to be a transfer fee involved, which is a first for Sydney FC. I don't know, like, if there's any confirmation as to what the transfer fee is actually going to be, but currently Joe Lolley is contracted to Nottingham Forest, who got promoted to the Premier League last season. He didn't feature much last year, and he hasn't featured much this year, and we're looking to acquire him from Nottingham Forest. But as I said, he's contracted to them, and I think the assumption is Adam Santo spoke about a few weeks ago, Sydney FC for the first time ever going and looking at signing players for a transfer fee, so you'd assume there'd be a transfer fee involved. But it's looking likely that we're going to sign Joe Lolley, and he kind of fits the Robert Mack build. He's 29. He's played at a high level. I mean, the Championship, it's not a top European league, but he's played around the Championship for most of his career. He was Nottingham Forest Player of the Year, I think, in 18-19 in the Championship. And, you know, he's just got a bunch of accolades at a higher level of football than the A-League. So I'm definitely excited to see him come in. He scored some banging goals as well. I really enjoyed watching his highlights reel, and he'd be a great second winger to have around, hopefully a new striker. But if we do run with Alfie as our starting number 9 next season, I think having Robert Mack and Joe Lolley around him could definitely take some of the pressure off him, just like in terms of scoring goals and getting goals for us and having defenders mark him out of the game and everything. I think it could open up space for him, and we could see a revitalized Alfie if he does end up being our starting striker. So if we did, get in 2 wingers who I'd perceive as better quality than what you'd usually see in the A-League, then that would be awesome. So we've already done one. Get Joe Lolley done, and the hype is going to be real. But the final Sydney FC player, or potential Sydney FC player I want to talk about, is Alex Parsons, and he's rumored to have signed for Sydney FC already. I feel like it's been almost a month of people saying, like, Parsons is going to be announced in a few days, and he hasn't. He hasn't been, so maybe there is some doubt creeping into the back of my mind, but I'm sure it's just administrative bullshit, or, you know, just the final touches taking a while in terms of getting the transfer done. I don't know what goes into a transfer, but I'm assuming there's more than just fucking, you know, FIFA negotiations. So, yeah, I'm still kind of certain that he's going to be signing for us, and I think he'll be a good signing. He's played in the A-League, so that's a bit of a change from Robert Mack and Joe Lolley. We know he can be a decent player in the A-League, and I think that he would fill the role that Trent Buhagiar has had in our squad for the last few years, where Parsons is 22, he's a striker or mainly a winger, but apparently he can play striker as well. I weirdly don't know much about Parsons. Like, I watched a lot of A-League over the last few years, but I don't know too much about him. But I know that he's an exciting young prospect and, you know, a semi-decent player. And I think that having that kind of young Aussie talent on the brink of our first team, like Trent Buhagiar was at times, is going to be good, because we saw how useful that could be in, like, the Champions League when we couldn't play all of our foreigners. We could bring in Trent Buhagiar, and hopefully we can do the same with Parsons to come in and do a job for us, as well as, you know, being a super sub. And also, he's young and at a decent A-League level, so Like, he could develop into a proper starting player for us and either fetch us a transfer fee down the line or just be really good for Sydney, which is what I'd prefer. But those are the two rumoured signings, Parsons and Lolley, and also, Robert Mack has signed for Sydney FC. So that's some absolutely awesome business if we can get all three of those transfers done in the next week or two, or whenever. But if we can get them done in the next week or two, then that'd definitely have me bouncing a little extra. But yeah, that's all I've really got to say on the matter, and I'll move on to my Australia Cup round of 16 preview, where we've got, how many games have we got? 8? Yes, we've got 8 games, and I am going to preview all of them. That's right, all of them.
Bentley Greens v Sydney FC.
One of the best games I think there will be to attend, because Sydney FC are playing, and as I said, we're going to be domestic treble winners in like 8 months. So you're getting to see this side start to build. But to have a quick look at the game, Sydney go down to Melbourne to face Bentley. Bentley are currently 5th in the NPL Victoria, and they won the Doherty Cup over the weekend. So they're a pretty, top team when it comes to NPL Victoria. And as far as I know, NPL Victoria is probably the best NPL competition in the country. I'm sure there's a few teams for other NPL comps that are quite good as well, but NPL Victoria, I think, is the standard. And it could be a potential banana peel for Sydney FC. I think that we're good now, though. Like, we'll find a way to get it done, but still, we don't have our whole squad together. We've only had one competitive match. I haven't seen us play any preseason friendlies in between the Central Coast match and this match, so I don't know how match fit we're going to be, but I have a feeling that it's going to need to be pretty tidy. Like, we're not going to have to be the best. We're not going to have to, put 4 goals past their 3, but if our defense lets us down, then we might have to, and that's going to be a problem. So, yeah, I think we could struggle, but I don't expect to, and I think Sydney will get the job done and progress to the next round of the Cup rather easily.
Modbury Jets vs MacArthur.
MacArthur are away to Modbury in South Australia, and I thought MacArthur actually looked pretty vulnerable at times during their last Australia, I keep going to say FFA Cup, but they looked vulnerable at times in their game against Mackay last round of the Cup. So I think there is a bit of a risk for an upset, but Modbury, they're in the 2nd division of the South Australian NPL. I think it's the South Australian State League, and I mean, they're top of the 2nd division, but I feel like there should just be too much of a gap in terms of the quality of player for MacArthur to lose that. Not saying that it's impossible, but I think it'd be a massive Cup upset if MacArthur did lose to Modbury. So I'm going to go for MacArthur winning that one.
Sydney United versus No Home FC.
For this game, I actually do like the idea of a cup set. I like the look of the game in general, actually. It's a shame that I've got my own football on at the exact same time as this game, because I would definitely go out of my way to watch this game on TV or even try and go to the game. So I'm kind of pissed that I'm going to be missing it, but it's going to be a good game either way, and I'm kind of just vibing a cup set here because Western United are soulless. Western United are shit and probably overconfident after fluking winning the grand final last season. Like, yeah, they got some wins in the finals, but you bottled the fucking Premier's plate, you cunts. Like, they're definitely in over their heads, and they'll probably beat Sydney United, especially as I say this, because Sydney United have had their own troubles this year. They didn't make finals in the NPL. They did make the Waratah Cup final, but they lost it. And they haven't really gone on, or picked up a solid string of results this season. So I don't know, but I just feel like, the home crowd behind Sydney United all up against Western United could potentially see a cup set happen, maybe on penalties, maybe, a shitty goal, but yeah, I'm kind of just vibing it. But I did say Western are shit, and I think they are going to be shit. So come on, cup set, prove my points. Come on, you fucking Croatian people.
Peninsula Power Green Gully.
For this one, Green Gully. There's no A-League teams. Could be a good game. I don't know if I'll watch it. I don't know what time it's on. I'll probably make an effort if it's the better game on. But Green Gully will win because NPL Victoria.
Oakley Brisbane City.
Oakley Cannons for the same reason as Green Gully.
Melbourne Heart versus the Knicks.
The only all A-League matchup this round. This game is going to be another one that I definitely want to go out and watch. I think it is on the final day, so it'll probably lead into the draw for the next round, which is exciting. And I do like the look of a cup set here. They're both from the A-League, so it's not like, a Fox Sports cup set. But there could be an upset in the cup. I think Wellington will win this game. This is the game I'd put money on, besides Sydney beating Bentley or some shit, or Macarthur beating Modbury. But if I wanted to try and make bank, I'd be betting on this game because Wellington looked sharp against Devonport. A little bit exposed at the back. They were pulled apart a few times, but going forward, they looked quite sharp. They created a few chances, and eventually at the end of the game, they blew Devonport out the fucking water. So, yeah, I think they're going to have a lot of firepower this game, and they're going to be ready to go. Whereas Melbourne City looked quite stale against, it's fair to say, a good NPL side in Newcastle Olympic. But, I'm vibing Melbourne City being shit this year. They do have a point to prove against Wellington, and honestly, I think their team is a bunch of pompous cunts that couldn't go out to prove a point to save their lives, except when they did it against Sydney twice in 2021. But, fuck that. Yeah, I'm going to go for Wellington to win this game.
Adelaide Derby baby. Adelaide City from the NPL against Adelaide United from the meth capital of the world. Yeet yeet my baby.
The Adelaide Derby. Very exciting. When's the last time there was an intra-Adelaide game? Probably recently, and I just forgot about it. But Adelaide City versus Adelaide United. I want to fly to Adelaide to watch this. This just sounds like an exciting cup night that I don't want to miss. And actually, I think this is being played the same time as the City versus Wellington game. So I'm going to have to set up 2 fucking TVs in here because I'm watching both of those games. But Adelaide looked good against Newcastle. Adelaide United looked good against Newcastle. And they didn't even have Craig Goodwin. I don't know when he's going to be playing for them again. But if they get Craig Goodwin, I can imagine them just ripping Adelaide City apart.
Avondale v Brisbane.
Brisbane are back down in Melbourne again to take on Avondale FC. I want to watch this one just for Charlie Austin, although I think I've already committed to watching 2 games at this time slot, so maybe I'll only be seeing the highlights of it. But Brisbane should be winning this one. They did away with Heidelberg, who looked pretty good. Brisbane are there for the taking, though. If Charlie Austin's marked out of the game and can't do anything, which we'll see how it goes, Brisbane looked a rather shit side. They did have the A-League quality and the A-League stamina to stay with the game longer than Heidelberg could. But I think that Brisbane are definitely there for the upset. However, I don't think we'll see it in this game. I think Brisbane will be good enough to move on to the next round. And I'm pretty sure that leaves the only 2 upsets I'm predicting being Wellington beating City, which isn't that big of an upset, and Sydney United beating Western, which I'm just vibing. So not that many upsets this round, but a bunch of good games. And honestly, if one of them's an upset, then that'll be pretty exciting. Even if it isn't, I think as long as there's some good games and the NPL teams step up and catch the A-League sides being a bit pompous and shit, then we'll see a good round of the cup again. So that's the video. I hope you have enjoyed it. Yeah, welcome back to the A-League show. I might do some more of these kind of videos. I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. I know I do this every off season where I start making videos and then give up. But we'll see how it goes this year. Probably will again, but maybe not. So yeah, thanks for watching. Up the Robert Mack. Come on, Joe, Lolley and Parsons. Join Sydney. What you're waiting for. And come on, Sydney against Bentley. Thanks for watching.